Monday Night Football, we are back. The Rams, led by Matthew Stafford, travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals, led by Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. Right now, the Cardinals sitting as 2.5-point favorites, over under 51.5. I got my favorite player prop, spread pick, and same game parlay coming your guys' way. Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. We're going to get into it, but first, real quick, if you're new to the channel, consider clicking that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 16,000 subscribers one of these days. We can't do it without your guys' love and support. Also, click that like button. Let me know your best bet down below, because there's a lot of injury concerns, a lot of people coming in and out of the lineup for this game. So it's going to be an interesting one to pick. Now, this week in the NFL, week 14 for our bets, it's been okay. Not the greatest week. I mean, I do have to say one thing. Get lost, Bengals, because they were the last leg of our money line parlay. I know a lot of people were following it, especially on Twitter. They were at me. And man, they sold. It was the last leg. We had the other legs. We're all done, and we're just waiting for them. Go to overtime. They come back, and they go into overtime just to crush our hopes and dreams. Now, NBA basketball videos return tomorrow morning, so if you've been checking those out, be sure on the lookout. If you're new to the channel, we do NBA basketball bets every single day. We've been doing pretty well so far in the season, so check out that video. It'll be linked down below or at the end of the video. But without further ado, let's get into my favorite player prop of the day, and we're going with Van Jefferson, over 49.5 receiving yards, minus 110 on FanDuel. Now, I started to say 20 because that's his longest reception line, and I do kind of like the longest reception. The only problem is, if you look at it, the Cardinals do not give up a lot of 20-plus yard receptions. So I'm not going to take Van Jefferson for that. I'll take us over 49.5 receptions, minus 110 on FanDuel, up to 55.5. I know a couple other books are right around this line, maybe 52.5. I'll take all of them. Now, when Robert Woods went down with an injury, everyone saw them sign Odell Beckham Jr. They're like, dang, well, there goes Robert Woods. That's just a rinse and repeat. That's just a void. He'll just void right into that spot. And sadly, that hasn't been the case because Odell Beckham Jr. kind of struggled, just hasn't gotten on the field as much as people might have expected. And Van Jefferson has been kind of filling in that role. And they got another guy, can't pronounce his last name, but he fills into that role as well. But Van Jefferson's been pretty good, and he's been balling out recently. Now, he's playing over 80 to 90% of the snaps, which is important because you need him to be on the field. And he's going to see about 6 to 7 to, he said 7, 8, 9 targets the past couple games. He's been really getting targeted a lot. And Jefferson's one of their deep threats. So like I said, I considered his longest in receptions, but I'll just stick to this because, you're going to see 7 to 10 receptions, likely get 4 or 5 catches, and he's averaging over 15 yards per catch. So just breaking down simple numbers, if he gets us, 4 catches, boom, he's already over just his normal average. Now, over his past 2 games versus the Cardinals alone, he had 90 yards versus them earlier this season and 50 yards last year. So cash in the 49.5, but I know a lot of people will get it above that. So the 90 yards earlier this season, a great sign of what's more to come. And I think he even had a touchdown as well. Now, what I love about this play is that Cooper Kupp, I know everyone loves him. I don't know his receiving yard. I know his receiving yards prop. It's like 90 to 93.5, 95.5 on some books. I know it's cashed a lot of games, a lot more often than not. Now, I do say pump the brakes. If you look at his game logs against the Cardinals, not all that good. They really find a way to stop him, or maybe they just leave everyone else open. But last game, he only had 5 receptions on 13 targets, and I expect them to do a very good job at stopping him today. Now, it's hard to stop Cooper Kupp completely. Matthew Stafford loves him. He's the safety blanket. He's going to get a lot of targets today. And, if he has a big game, that's just because Matthew Stafford and him have such a great connection. You could see Cooper Kupp in his post-game conference saying, fire zone, all this left and right. I mean, the guy's fun to watch, and he's one of the best receivers in the NFL for a reason. But Kupp has notoriously struggled against this team. And Van Jefferson, I think, will be the repercussion or get some extra looks because of that. And now, if you look at it, Robert Woods is out. And while Van Jefferson might not be as good as Robert Woods, he definitely doesn't have the reputation of being that good. And so I expect him to see plenty of single coverage, trying to beat a lot of zone coverage while they focus a lot of attention on stopper Cooper Kupp because he's the main person in this offense that you really got to stop. Once you cut the head off the snake of Mr. Cooper Kupp, I think you'll be able to beat this Rams team, but that's why I'll be relying on Mr. Van Jefferson, 50 yards. That's something he can do in one play, and all we're asking for is him to get over 49.5 receiving yards. I have faith in him. We'll ride with him. Now, my spread pick, what everyone came here for, taking the Rams plus 2.5. Now, if you watch our podcast or listen to it, which we appreciate you, it's posted every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Rams were my upset pick this week, and truthfully, I think they get the upset here. Now you might be thinking, what the heck? Why are you picking the Rams? You got this Cardinals team. They've been very good this season, absolutely killing teams, and they beat them earlier this season when they were fully healthy. They should be more or less fully healthy this week. Beat them 37-20. It wasn't even a close game. At least I think that was the final score. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't close, and that was even on the road. Well, surprisingly, the Cardinals actually better on the road. They're undefeated, I believe, on the road this season. Have actually lost their only 2 games at home. And while I just think the Rams should be getting a little bit more points here, in my opinion. So I'm going to take the 2.5 because sometimes when it looks too good to be true to be betting the Rams or the Cardinals, it's probably when you should fade and pick the other team. Now, you look at this Rams team, this is the must-win game. If they don't win this game, they got 0 chance of winning this division. They have no chance. They won't be able to do it. So they got to win this game. maybe get a little bit of help, and they might be able to sneak this division because, trust me, you don't want to be going and having to play almost every single game on the road, except for unless you get to the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl is in SoFi Stadium. So it would be technically a Rams home game. But I think the Rams, led by Matthew Stafford, are really going to bounce back. I think that defense was really embarrassed. Now they picked it up last week, but they really were embarrassed in this first showdown, just absolutely getting blitzed. It wasn't close. Like I said, the game was over by halftime. I mean, it was over. You didn't even have to sweat anything if you bet on the Cardinals. They had won it, and then you just got a couple garbage time touchdowns for the Rams. But I really like them to bounce back in this spot, plus 2.5. I even sprinkle on the money line. I think they get the win outright. Now, they are on the road, but I just think Matthew Stafford and the gang will get it going. Sean McVay has had a great record versus this Arizona Cardinals team, scoring a lot of points, and today, I just think they're being underwhelming. I think they're gonna pull off the upset here. So I'll take the Rams plus the points. I think they got a good chance to upset them outright. So I'll be riding with the Rams. Now, same game parlay. You know I'm back here. We were close last week. We're gonna get this one. I'm taking the same game parlay of just 2 touchdown guys, Zach Ertz and Tyler Higbee. Now, you could be saying to yourself, why is this so risky? And when I look at this game, there's a lot of guys going in and out of the lineup. Now, one, we don't really have any Sony Michel lines because Darrell Henderson Jr. is out. Now, for others, we should have Chase Edmonds back, but what's his workload going to be? So you don't really want to include James Conner a whole lot. DeAndre Hopkins has been banged up all year long, and then I don't really love Cooper Kupp today in his matchup. So I could add Van Jefferson into my same game parlay, but I don't want to do that because then you're risking to lose 2 things on one player. So I'm just going to take these 2 guys because I think they got a chance to get into the end zone. Now, some days you just got to wake up and say, you know what, who's getting into the end zone today? And that's what I wanted to do today. Now, there's not a lot of value betting a James Conner or Cooper Kupp touchdown. Like I said, don't love Cooper Kupp's matchup, but I think there is a lot of value on Zach Ertz and Tyler Higbee, both plus around 200 anytime touchdown scores. This is combined plus 859. Now, Tyler Higbee, we'll start with him. He's had a touchdown in 4 of his past 7 games versus this Cardinals team. Didn't get one earlier this season. I think he gets one today, especially as they focus to take out Cooper Kupp, especially in the red zone. Now, I love him today. I love his anytime touchdown prop. Now, for Zach Ertz, it's really you just wake up and say, you know what, this is Zach Ertz day. And I think he will get one today because you think about this Rams team, very good on the outside. Obviously got Jalen Ramsey, their other corner, slipping my mind his name, but he's very good as well. Now, DeAndre Hopkins will likely be clamped up by Jalen Ramsey, and maybe DeAndre Hopkins gets loose a little bit, although he has been banged up all year, so it's really hard to bet his props. But in the middle of the field, they can be beaten, and I think that's where Zach Ertz will be camping out. Now, obviously, Zach Ertz does not have a lot of connection with Kyler Murray, a lot of chemistry. They really haven't played a ton of games together, and if you looked at last week when Kyler Murray returned, sure, he only had one catch for like 10 yards, but that was the game that I believe the Cardinals threw it a total of 15, 16 times. They didn't have to throw much to beat that Bears team. So I like both these 2 guys to get anytime touchdown scores. I mean, it's a dart throw, so don't put a full unit on it. Just put a little, maybe sprinkle one on one of them if you like it. But I like both, plus 859, 2 legs, same game parlay. I'm all in. Now, just to recap, we're taking the Rams plus 2.5, that same game parlay, and Van Jefferson over 49.5 receiving yards. I love all 3 of these plays. We're going to let it ride. Let's see if we can hopefully finish week 14 strong, hopefully continue to keep rolling in the NBA, and then we'll be back to recap all of what we did on week 14 in the week 15 Thursday night football matchup. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This has been Austin, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.